Fire signs, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. Oh, welcome. This is going to be your reading. I'm recording this in the year of 2025 on November 8th. So if anything isn't covered in this reading that you have more questions about, go ahead and look back to that day. What were you doing? What kind of decisions did you make? Look in your journals. Look on your online activity. This reading is not just for sun signs that are Sagittarius and Aries and Leo, but also for the moon and rising signs. Like and share with anyone that you know that can benefit from this reading. It would be so awesome. My beloved, warm, gracious, fiery, incredible fire signs. I'm so stoked to give you a reading today. So I'm going to be reading from two different decks for you. One thing that I'm pulling from is almost every Leo that I have known, and Sagittarius and Aries has loved trees and nature or wood elements. And that's because it's a nourishing element for you. So I'm going to be reading from the Green Man Tree Oracle. Beautiful, beautiful deck, which I highly recommend looking into if you find the wisdom from it suits you. And I'm also going to be reading to you for those of you who like fantasy. I'm going to be reading from the Dragon deck as my Aries comes up the stairs right now to be near me as I'm cutting up pears. Okay, so astrologically, what's going on right now that may or may not be felt by, say hi Aries, that may or may not be felt by you in these current moments. We have a grand water trine, and water is an element that the way that it interacts with you fire signs is it either puts you out or you combine with it to create new earth. So think of like lava under the ocean. When there's enough fire and there's enough water, and it's in a place that houses water like the ocean, when those two elements combine, they turn rock hard. They turn into lava and then they turn rock hard. And then from that place, new earth grows. So don't necessarily think always that, you know, those things that you would think would take you out or would be your kryptonite. It's not always the case. Sometimes new beginnings and new birth can happen in those areas of life. And we are in a time of new beginnings and new birth, with Aquarius having moved into Pluto for the first time in over a couple hundred years. Definitely the first time in our lifetime or anyone's lifetime who we even know who's alive on this planet. So that's pretty huge. That's another astrological alignment that you might be resonating with. You might be finding that you're just beginning anew and having a new life and starting new, just newness. Also, we have a grand trine in air. I'm so lucky that I was listening to some astrology today because I haven't really been listening to as much astrology lately. And so this morning I got to listen to some astrology with a morning pep talk with a syndication that I just adore. And I was really grateful to have that morning little pep talk. And there's some astrology in there mentioning the grand trine in air, which I had completely forgotten about. And this is just in time for me to do this reading here with you on pear and how it could affect you. So the way that air affects you, fire signs, is it fuels you. And this can be a good or a bad thing for you, depending on how it's fueling you. It could give you words of encouragement, or it could really put the fire in your belly. It could get that fire in your belly activated and make you feel fury. So air activates fire. So you're going to be feeling activated quite easily. Hold on just a second. Hey, It's my turn to speak. That barker is a Scorpio. She's been quite scorpionic today. She wanted to give me snuggles. And of course it melted my Pisces heart to receive snuggles from the little Scorpio dog. But she only wants to give snuggles when there's somebody else that I'm giving snuggles to. And something gets activated in her where she wants to be in the puppy pile. It's really cute, but she doesn't just want to be in the puppy pile. She kind of wants to push apart the human pile and make it all about her. She gets like a sense of urgency. We're in Scorpio season right now. So you might be noticing these like kind of dynamics happening where there could be like a fear of losing it all, a fear of losing everything, a fear of losing your cool, which y'all are right at home in that. You're just so attractive and undeniably charming, even if you lose your cool. So it'll be okay, just so you know. But do be aware that, you know, there's going to be just a lot more emotion. And when you feel emotion, you feel it passionately, you feel it deeply, and it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels uncomfortable to feel like all those emotions. If an earth sign is getting, you know, a flood of emotions, they might be able to contain some of it. They might be able to transmute some of it. But it's a lot harder for you fire signs. You literally would have to be able to breathe underwater and survive underwater and mesh with the emotions long enough to create something new from it. And when you do, it's going to make things really, really hard. Like literally, it makes like lava turns hard rock. It becomes earth from that combination. So the emotions, you know, the watery depths of emotions, it's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable process. And Scorpio is all about transformation. So I know y'all are probably going through it in one way or another. Fire signs can be really optimistic, you know, and right now part of transformation requires that we see the underbelly in things, that we see like the parts of things that we would want to think like, no, we want to think the best of everyone, right? We want to just assume the best. We want to assume that everybody's here to be a good neighbor and have a good time and be good to their friends and family. But there are other things that occur also in life. And so you're being exposed to some of those things, and that's kind of rough and that's kind of hard, and I'm really sorry. And I wish I had dressed up for you all today. I know you appreciate, a lot of you probably really appreciate somebody who dresses up for you, but there's some, I gotta get these things done, you know. I'm slicing pears to make a little pear tart because I just don't want these pears to go bad. They were a gift from a friend, and that means something. They were a gift from a friend of someone that I care about, and so I want these pears to be experienced. But yeah, they were a gift to a fire sign from a water sign. And I have a lot of water in me. So like, I'm like, here, I really want you to experience this gift. So let me do something with it so that you can really like experience it and all the glory that it has. So yeah, water can be very mothering and nurturing to us fire signs. I have a little bit of fire in my ascendant, but I am mostly water. So let's go ahead and get to your reading. That was 8 minutes, but that was your astrology and how astrology might be affecting you right now. Oh, and you know what? A lot of you fire signs might be told like, oh, you're selfish. You think it's all about you. Well, I just want to let you know right now, it kind of really is all about you. With this Pluto transit, it really is all about you. Pluto has been at 0 degree and now it's at 1 degree. And it's really like asking you to be okay with writing your own story, rewriting your ego, rewriting your self-esteem. There's things coming up for review too. We're about to go into Mercury retrograde. So it's going to be a time of, you know, churning over and repeating. And I know it's really hard. You know, you don't want to have to ever take a step back, but think about dancing. Like good dancers can take a step back. And that's part of the dance. So try to think of it in the best way that you can, but there's going to be a time of review for the rest of November. Now you might be getting this message way past November of 2025, and that's okay. It's still relevant to you, but you know, you can look back to this day. So let's go ahead and see what do our fire signs have. What kind of information can be gleaned from the fire signs for the fire signs? Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Okay, great. And one more. What kind of wisdom from the trees can be gleaned from the green man and the wisdom of the trees for our Leos and our Aries and our Sagittariuses? Sagittarius says things are going to feel really philosophical. You know, people with this grand air trine, and enjoy it. But do be aware that it's totally normal if there's misunderstandings coming up. Try not to run away from it, because being in the stillness of being okay with the misunderstandings and just trying to be with it, trying to look at the people around you that you're not going to run away from this holiday season, that you're actually going to be around. Try to look at them as if you've never seen them before in your life. Try to imagine when you step into that role, like, you know, what if you were meeting this person for the very first time and you didn't even know you know, because there's going to be really useful wisdom that you're going to pick up on, and you might not notice it right away. It might not reveal itself for quite some time. You know, by that I mean like 20 years, you know. Okay, great. I got 2 elements here. So, fire signs. Okay, I immediately know. Okay, so one thing, there's going to be a message. We've got the Page of Wands. I'll show you what it looks like in the Dragon deck. Hey, my baby. Hey, Scorpio. Doggy, it's not your turn. So there's the Dragon deck. It's the Page of Wands. Come. Come. Okay, so pages in the tarot, come, means messages. It means the messenger. It's literally can show up when you look back on your life through the Akashic records, or you look back in your life when, you know, someday it could look like a page in a book. You could literally call it like, this page in this book was about this. This is when everything changed, kind of turning. So you're about to get a message, and the message is about growth, and it's about a type of growth that makes you feel young again. Preferably, if it's a good growth. If it's not a good growth, then, you know, it's not that kind. But no, this is, I'm feeling this is a really good card. But, okay, so the good aspects of the Page of Wands is it could be a message that you really needed to receive. So just dwell on that. Have you recently received a message that has to do with growth that you really needed to receive? Good or bad? Now, I'm sorry if it's bad, but fear not, because it's just a page out of the book. There can be other things that occur from this experience that you're not aware of, okay? So good things could still happen from this, but you've received a message. You've received some information, and it has to do with growth. It could also have to do with passion, but like young-spirited or immature handling of emotions and whatnot. So that's the Page of Wands. Page is a card that is the number 11, so it has to do with integrity. So it could be unexpected truth that comes very quickly, and whoever delivers it might deliver it very quickly and then just be like, okay, I'm over, well, whatever. You know, here's the truth. Here you go. And then they're just like, gotta go, see ya, bye. You know, so it could just be this like really quick burst of like information. And it has to do with growth. It's either something that you were already growing and trying to grow that you're like, oh, all that work I put into it, and what? Sabotage? Really? Like, now, or it could be like, oh, I better go get that checked out. Let me make a doctor's call or something like that. Or it could be something else. It could be, you know, like the project that I've been working on all this time, and oh, this is a really valuable message about that project I've been working on. So let me utilize this information that I've just gotten from that project about that project that I've been working on. So the other card that we've got here is Blackberry. Beautiful card. I love this deck so much, the Green Man Tree Oracle, because there's faces in the cards. And it's just so beautiful. So Blackberry, right off the bat, I can tell you, Blackberries in some decks are associated with like devilish, mischievous type energy, or bondage type energy. So take that in any direction that you will, depending on what you're into. But another perspective could also be with Blackberry that, here's the thing with fire signs, and I already had this download before I even did this reading. It's the weirdest thing, and then here we are with Blackberries. Instinct. So instinct is the hardest thing for fire signs, especially the younger. We've got the Aries, which is the youngest of all the fire signs. No matter how old you are chronologically in human years, Aries is a very young type of an energy as a fire sign. And then we have Leo, which tends to be like, pretty sure either Leo or Sagittarius are the oldest. I'm really good with all the rest of the elements, but I kind of feel like Leo might be the older, you know, the king of the jungle, the old Aslan, the lion, kind of like the old man. So instinct is really the challenge for the egos of fire signs. The instinct to be defensive and to react from a place of defensiveness. That's not me. I don't do that. That's not me. When someone might just be being like, well, in general, I find that this can be much more useful for me. If I can avoid this and do that, they could be like, well, I'm not that thing, blah, blah, blah. You know, like the instinct to just react, or to, and another thing with instinct is we have a Neptune transit occurring around this time too. So this goes right in line with it. Addiction and drugs. So there was a lot of things that were going on around drugs, pharmaceuticals, addiction on a personal, private level in people's personal lives, all the way to like their community, all the way to societal factors and pharmaceutical stuff. There was a lot of that going on. Astrologically, there were transits that were speaking to that all through the summer and some of the late spring, and all the way into like almost the beginning of the fall. And now we're about to go into something again that's going to be going there. So there are certain things that if you do it, you can't just do it and stop. You know, like, I'll just say, because we're in Scorpio season right now, and Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio, and a lot of Tauruses are going through like food shame and food fixations, because Scorpio is about lack and this feeling like, I'll never have this chance again. I'll never have this again. I need to do it now, or it's never going to happen. Sorry, I'm really in my like putting around the house clothes today, just trying to do like things around the house that need to get done. But I wanted to get this last and final reading out, because this is like a new thing that I'm doing where I'm trying to do it for each element, and I want to get your reading to you, because and then I'll be done, and I just feel moved to speak to you, fire signs. So, you know, that could be certain drugs too, not just like the Lay's, you know, the advertisement where you can't just have one. I think it was like a certain type of potato chips that was like that. There, it could be anything. It could be a certain type of drugs. There's certain types of stimulants. You can't just have a little bit of it. You have to have more and more. And this will be the self-sabotage. This will be the downfall at this point in time. I'm not saying those things are bad all the time. I'm not saying those things are necessarily bad. But I'm saying for you, dear fire signs, in this particular season, when we are in Scorpio consciousness, where Scorpio has to do with using all of your resources to the best of your ability and getting rid of what doesn't serve you, but also at the same time not falling into the fear trap of losing everything, I can tell you that you need to stay away from those things that are the hardest for you to stay away from. Fire signs, this is you, because they will be your downfall. And this message about growth will be good or bad depending on how well you can curb it when it comes to these things that you just can't stay away from. Because blackberries, once they start to grow, they take over everything, and the roots are impossible to dig out, and there's thorns everywhere. So there's just no way, shape, or form that you can function around blackberry bushes if you don't want it to just be about blackberry bushes. Blackberry bushes would be the Scorpio of the zodiac. They're delicious. You can make blackberry pie, you can make tinctures, but they're going to take over everything in your garden unless you're willing to have a blood sacrifice of your own blood or the blood of whoever it is that's going to dig it up and try to get it out of there. And it's not easy to get out of there. It's not easy. Like, you'll be working on trying to get rid of it for the rest of your life. Like they say in AA, which I agree with some things in AA and other things not so much, but they say in AA, which I do agree with. I've been alive long enough, like a half a century, to know that once you're an addict, you're always an addict, even if you're dry, even if you're not using, you're still, it's just the way it is. So whatever the thing that is the hardest for you, if it's sugar, if it's cocaine, if it's heroin, if it's the thoughts, the addictive thoughts that want to bring you down from your programming, if it's, hey, power struggles in the house, in the home. Hey, Falcor. Hey, no bark. So, okay, I've said enough about it. But how you handle the thing that is your blackberry bush that wants to take over everything and make it all about them and nothing else, how you handle that will determine how this message goes. Whether this message is good or bad right now. It could turn into the best thing in the world later if it's bad now. It could turn into the worst thing in the world later if it's bad now. If it's good now, it could turn into a bad or good thing later. But whatever this message about growth is, hey, no bark. See, that's like instinct right there. The dog just wants to bark. And you see how, like, I get louder and I'm like, no, don't do it. Instinct can be pack mentality too. Everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it too, even if I'm against it. So that's your message, fire signs, and sending out all the love to you, luscious, warm, charismatic, beautiful souls, the girl and the boy next door, the envy next door. I love you, Aries, like your next door neighbor kind of energy. I love it. And Leos, you're majestic, gracious, just warm, and just, I love your energy, Leos. And Sagittarius, I'm starting to get to understand you more as I've realized my ascendant is a Sagittarius. We are so full of our philosophy and like our higher knowledge and our higher knowing, and we can really read a room. I think we rock. We really rock. And don't ever let go of that Pollyanna spirit. I'm just saying, Sagittarius, don't ever let it go, because it's what makes us beautiful, I think. And we know balance. I think, I hope. Cheers to all of us and all of you, and good luck out there.